for how to do this. And this is really Presas Arnis. This is, you know, I normally use the term modern artist because I spent the majority of time with Grandmaster Presas, Remy Presas, but I also trained with his brother, Ernesto. And Ernesto Presas had his system of Kombatan. And they were both brothers, and so we mixed their arts. We blended them together. A lot of the double stick material that we've covered so far is coming from Grandmaster Ernesto's Kombatan system. This was not from Remy, although it is found in Remy's program. And what I mean by that is you can find the expression of it. You will see him do the same kind of, you know, the same kind of hand techniques or the blocks. It's represented there, but we were not taught in an organized fashion this, okay? This comes from Grandmaster Ernesto through my other instructor, Hakan, and this is how I, you know, am presenting it to you all. So I've been asked that we go over just briefly here what we were covering last time as a way to remind everybody, okay? And what we do is we use an 8-count feeding drill. The feeding drills, ladies and gentlemen, are different than your blocking and striking drills and things like that. Your feeding drill is, if Jackie comes on out here like this, if she stands still, the feeding drill that we're using here is just 4 forehand attacks, 1 for each side, both high and low, and then 4 backhand attacks, 1 for each side, high and low. And so it's done in this manner. And I'm just going to use Jackie here as you know, the target. You block first as you step forward and you strike right here to her head. This is number 1. You step back, you block over here, you strike to this side of her head. This is number 2. You block and you strike down to the kneecap. It's number 3. You block, strike to the other kneecap. It's number 4. From there, we come back. Now we feed the backhand strikes. So I block. This is 1 or 5. Come back. This is 6. Come back. This is 7. Come back. This is 8. That is the feeding pattern for the double stick. Now when I feed my partner, Jackie's going to do what we call defensive response number 1, which is the same side block and strike. So her response is now going to be different than what I just showed you. I'm feeding her the techniques, and so she will block my techniques and then she counter strikes. When I, as the feeder, when I feed, I drop my other stick. You saw me have the block up here where we're training to block. Exactly what she's going to be doing here now. We train to have the block up here when we're doing the feeding pattern by ourselves, but when we're working with our partner, we take the blocking hand and we put it down at her side. This is to give her a clear target to hit, and her target is at the head. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you're training your students and you have a student, such as I have, one who accidentally keeps hitting the other person, even though it's lightly, this can scare the student. Change the target. Pick something else. Okay? For the drills in here, we are just picking the head because we ultimately want to train ourselves to hit the computer. Alright? You hit the computer, then it rattles them, and so hopefully the fight is over. They either withdraw or whatever, okay? So, like I said, if you have a student that tags the other person up here to the head, just change it to the shoulders. Perfectly fine, okay? But the goal here is that I'm going to feed her now, and she is going to sit there, block and strike. So defensive response number 1 is the same side block and strike. So I feed, she blocks and she hits. Okay? And I feed her the backhand. Okay? Now, if you notice, when I feed the backhand, high backhand here like this, she can tag my arm or she can go to my head. If my arm's in the way, if my arm's in the way, she takes the arm. Okay? Don't, put yours out. No, backhand stroke. Don't be doing this and try and reach up here. Okay? That's poor, hand position, everything like that. Just hit the arm. It's perfectly fine. This sets up for later on us doing stripping and everything anyhow. So just pick that target. Okay? Now, the next one, we're going to use the same feeding pattern. It's the same thing. She's going to do defensive response number 2. This is our crossbody block. Now I'm showing you this because some people in here have already been to 2 classes, and so I want you to go ahead and do defensive response 1, defensive response 2 if you know the material. Then I'll show you defensive response 3. We'll do all 3 of those as our warm up. Then we'll go to single stick, okay?
Sure.
So, I feed the same pattern to her. She's going to do crossbody block. Okay? This is crossbody block. So watch, when Jackie comes in, I feed, she blocks, she hits. Now she's hitting with her rear hand. I feed over here, she blocks, hits with her hand here. Now what defensive response number 2 it represents is that she's got 1 foot forward. If I'm striking at her, it makes more sense for her to block with that front hand and her to hit me with this one. Okay? So it represents just like if we were up here like this. Okay? And if I'm here like this and Jackie, I'll be like here, okay. Jackie throws a front hand jab. See, it's that. Okay? It's me blocking with my front hand. Alright? But if we're here like this and say Jackie comes with a wide shot, that's number 1. You see what I'm doing?
Sure.
I'm blocking with this hand and I come in. So she's here, she feeds in, and I attack here. This is defensive response number 1. So we try and translate from double sticks to empty hand. Okay? And this could be sai, it could be tonfa, anything. Alright? So, defensive response number 3 we covered last time. Real quick, we'll review it again. This time it's a double block. I feed in, she blocks twice and then hits. Okay? Now if you notice that every time that I feed Jackie here, let me point this out, especially on the low line, Jackie removes the target. So when I come down, she removes it and then she hits. Okay? Now, question is, does she have to hit with the lead hand? No. She hits with whatever hand she wants to. I have students, go ahead, strike me. I have students that like that. I have students that like that. It doesn't matter.
So each student's basically different, right?
Yeah. The defense of response is what's important. Whether it be 2, front hand, rear hand. Doesn't matter. Okay? Does everybody understand what I mean? Okay? Now it makes sense if she strikes here, and I'm blocking with this hand, that I use this hand to hit her with. Likewise, if she strikes again and I block with this hand, I want to hit with that hand. Okay? But if I block with both, then I can come in with either hand. Alright? Now, the last thing here with these, before we get up and everybody finds a partner, okay? When Jackie sits there and hits me with 2 hands, or I'm sorry, with 1 hand. With 1 hand, block here on the inside, I know that sticks there. Okay, people say, well, why would you block here with 2 sticks? Why would you commit 2 sticks here when she's got that one? Ladies and gentlemen, let me make this clear. I'm not teaching you to sticks bar. Okay? That's not it. What we're trying to do is teach you a methodology in your training for self-defense. So, if Jackie has, hold on a second. Let's say, for instance, that Jackie comes at me with a 2-handed weapon. So she can have, yeah, there you go. She comes at me with a 2-handed weapon, see? I want to block. I want to make sure I get my hands up here with both of them. Then I can do whatever I want to. Okay? If she comes at me with a backhand, okay? I want to come in. You know, fight. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So if she has one hand, and let's say, for instance, that she's got a tire iron in that hand, it's very heavy. Okay? And she's a big person. Well, here, let me have it. For instance, like I'm hitting her. Now you think I got a tire iron or something like this, and I go to basically hit her. So as I step in and I come in here, she better have both hands blocking this arm.
Yes.
Okay? And that's what we're trying to teach you with this. Okay? I understand that I would not spar and block both hands here. But see, even if she comes at me with that on the inside and I step here, this is my next shot. Immediately. Block, hit. Right here. And follow up, do whatever you want. But that's all that I'm teaching you with the double block here. Plus it sets up disarming and such like that later on as well, okay? So that's all part of it. Okay, so enough talking, let's get on up and let's get together and do something.